Zelle is, it's really no longer just a payment app. It's become infrastructure. It's this tool that, sits under everything for millions of people making payments, connecting all the major banks. It's almost like a utility now.
It really is.
So given how ubiquitous it is, when we saw the news that Zelle is shutting down its dedicated standalone app, well, we knew we had to unpack that immediately.
Yeah.
This isn't just some small tech update. For a small but, a really critical group of users, this means they have to act, and they have to act now.
That's the key part.
So our mission for this deep dive is to go beyond the press release.
Yeah.
We want to analyze why they're doing this, what this tells us about integrated finance, and most importantly, give you the clear, actionable steps you need to take.
And what's so fascinating right away is the contrast, right? Zelle as a service is thriving. It's processing billions of dollars.
Oh, huge numbers.
But the sources we've seen confirm this is purely a business decision based on user behavior. That little purple app on your phone. It just wasn't where the action was.
That's the perfect way to put it. The overall success of the brand kind of masks the failure of this one specific product.
Exactly.
So let's start there with the core data point that basically forced this decision. The reports are all saying the same thing. Only about 2% of all Zelle payments actually happen through that standalone app.
2%. It's such a powerful number, and it completely reframes the whole story.
It really does.
It means 98% of people are already using Zelle where Zelle wants them to be inside their bank's app.
Right.
So from a business standpoint, think about the drag, the cost of catering to that tiny minority.
Okay, I get efficiency as a goal, but that can sound a bit like, corporate jargon. Can we dig in a little deeper? Why was supporting that 2% so difficult?
That's where it gets interesting. It's not just about having a few extra developers.
Right.
When you have a standalone app that moves money, you have this massive overhead. We're talking regulatory compliance, PCI standards, state-by-state licensing. The bank integrations, though, they're basically shielded by the bank's own security and their own regulatory frameworks.
So the banks are already doing all the heavy lifting. The authentication, the know your customer rules, all that high-level compliance stuff. Zelle can just be a simpler layer inside that trusted space.
Precisely. The standalone app forced Zelle to duplicate all of those high-cost, high-liability functions themselves.
Wow.
And then there's the technical debt. Maintaining a whole separate code base, constant security testing, making sure it talks to hundreds of different bank systems, all for 2% of your traffic.
So shutting it down lets them focus all their energy, all their security efforts on the integrated experience, which, ultimately helps the 98%.
This benefits the vast majority.
That reframing is so helpful. It stops sounding like just an inconvenience and starts sounding like a smart move to reduce risk and hyper-focus the resources.
It's a classic business optimization.
Okay, but let's step back. For the person listening, the immediate question is practical. Who needs to act and who can just, ignore this whole conversation?
This is the most critical piece of information. If you already use Zelle through your bank Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, credit union, you are the 98%.
So for you, nothing changes.
Nothing. It should be completely seamless. Your service is safe.
For that 2%, the people who signed up for Zelle directly, maybe because their bank wasn't on board yet or they didn't have a traditional bank account, they have a job to do.
A mandatory one.
You can't just let the app go dark.
That's right. For that standalone user, the one and only step is you must re-enroll through a participating bank or credit union. Zelle has to operate through the banking system.
Okay, let's get tactical for those listeners. Walk us through the steps just to manage the anxiety. Step 1, you have to confirm your current bank is actually on the Zelle network.
Yes. Most are, but if you're with a smaller local credit union, it's worth a quick check on Zelle's website first.
Good point. Yeah. So once you've confirmed that, the next step is crucial. Use the official channel.
The official channel. Log into your bank's actual website, or even better, their mobile app. Don't just Google Zelle and click the first link. That's just asking for trouble.
And you'll find it under transfers or payments usually.
Right. And you'll follow the prompts. But here's what's really important to expect. You will probably have to verify your identity again.
Even if you already did it for the standalone app.
Exactly. This is a security measure. You're basically linking your old Zelle identity to your new bank-integrated one. You might get a one-time code sent to your phone or email.
And that's to make sure the right person is making the switch. It's not a step to just blow through.
Definitely not.
I understand the efficiency argument, but what about financial inclusion? That 2% might include people who relied on the standalone app because they were I don't know, less tech savvy or had a weird banking setup? Is this a calculated risk of losing some users?
It's definitely a calculated trade-off. Zelle knows it's a disruption, but their strategy is that deep integration is the only way to guarantee long-term security and reach.
So they're arguing that by forcing people into the banking system, they're actually making the service better for them in the long run.
More robust, more reliable, yes. And the sources do say that Zelle will have, extra customer support on hand to help people who struggle with the switch. They know they need to minimize the friction.
Okay, so that's the immediate problem, the migration. Let's pivot now and look ahead. This isn't the end of Zelle. It's really this sharpening of its focus. What does going all in on bank integration let them do in the future?
It fundamentally changes their entire roadmap. Instead of spending resources on a separate app, they can pour everything into the back end, into the architecture, the APIs.
And that lets them tap into sophisticated bank features almost instantly.
Instantly. Think about it.
Give me an example. What kind of innovation does this unlock?
Okay, think about advanced security. When you use Zelle in your bank's app, the bank has already done a super high-level identity check on you.
Right.
Zelle can leverage that. That could lead to things like higher daily transfer limits, maybe instant cross-bank settlements, maybe even things like cross-border payments down the line, because that core identity layer is already trusted.
So Zelle stops being an external tech company and becomes more like a payment utility for the entire banking industry.
That's the perfect way to describe it.
It stops competing for your attention and just becomes a feature inside the relationship you already trust, the one with your bank.
Exactly, and that maximizes consumer confidence. People inherently trust an option inside their bank's app more than some third-party thing. This move just leans right into that trust.
That security piece you mentioned is so important, especially now during this transition. Anytime a financial service makes a big change, the scammers come out of the woodwork.
Oh, absolutely.
We have to spend some serious time on the safety warnings for people who have to re-enroll.
You're so right. Transitions create confusion, and confusion is, well, it's a scammer's best friend. For anyone moving from the standalone app, you have to be hypervigilant. You're expecting messages about your account, and they know that.
So what's the primary threat?
Impersonation. There are two main tactics. First, you'll get a very real-looking email or text. It'll say it's from Zelle or your bank, that there's an error with your migration.
It'll ask you to click a link to fix it.
A link to verify your identity or complete the transfer, and that link, of course, goes to a fake site designed to steal your bank login.
The classic phishing scam.
The classic. The second one is maybe even more insidious. It's the bank support callback scam.
Okay.
A fraudster calls you. They sound professional. They say they're from Zelle support, proactively helping you migrate your account. The key is they will ask you to read back a verification code they just sent to your phone.
And that code is the key to the kingdom.
It's almost always a two-factor authentication code that the scammer triggered on their end to get into your account. If you read it to them, it's over.
The moment you give them that code, you've handed them your account.
So please, everyone, remember, your bank and Zelle will never call you and ask you to read a code back to them, ever.
Yeah.
If someone does, it is a scam. Hang up the phone.
The golden rule is more critical than ever. Always initiate the contact yourself. Use the official phone number on the back of your debit card or on your bank's official website.
Exactly.
If you get a suspicious message, just log into your bank's app directly. If there's a real problem, there will be an alert waiting for you right there in that secure environment.
And we just have to say it again. Your financial information is your responsibility. Do not share your password, your PIN, or those one-time codes with anyone. The app closing is a logistical change, not a security breach, unless you let a scammer take advantage of the confusion.
So let's wrap this up. What does this all mean for you listening right now? The core takeaway is crystal clear. If you are one of the 98% using Zelle inside your bank's app, you're fine. No action needed. If you're using that purple standalone Zelle app, you have to act now. Find a partner bank and re-enroll through their official channels.
And this move, driven by that tiny 2% number, it really solidifies Zelle's place in the world. They're not a disruptor trying to beat the banks.
No.
They're vital tech that runs inside the established system. It proves that the future of payments is about leveraging existing trust, not building new platforms from scratch.
And that brings us to a final provocative thought for you to think about. If a payment giant as popular as Zelle decides to completely abandon a consumer app because only 2% of people will use it outside of their main bank, what does that tell us about the limits of external fintech? Does consumer preference for security and familiarity mean that all successful money-moving tech, eventually, just has to get absorbed or embedded within the walls of a traditional trusted bank? It raises a really fascinating question about where innovation in finance truly needs to happen.